Adam, good to see you. Fantastic performance and win on Saturday. How do you reflect on that match now?
Yeah, no, it was pleasing. Lots of good stuff. Obviously, looked back at the goals conceded and stuff for us to work on there. But in the main, it was much closer to what we want it to look like. Especially, I thought our pressing, the amount of times we give the ball away in their half of the pitch, and then when I'm pressed and got it back, I was really pleased with, and it was a big part of our game.
Some of the goals as well were superb. Do you have a favourite looking back on them now?
Yeah, I thought the first and the third one really good goals. I think the third one in particular, the ball, the first touch and the finish was unbelievable. And I think if that would be played over and over again if that was on a Premier League stage, and that just showed the sign of the quality for that goal.
I think lots of people thought Tyrese, when he started the season, was maybe struggling for a bit of confidence or struggling for a bit of form. Does that now show that you think he's getting towards his peak performance now? Yeah,
I just said to him before the game, like, he can't. His game can't be defined by what he does inside the first 10 minutes of the game. So if it's something positive, then we're going to have a positive Tyrese Sinclair. If it's something negative, then his body language and everything goes down. And you want players to play with freedom and confidence, especially in those attacking areas. And I think we're starting to see now what a confident Tyrese Sinclair looks like, and he's a real threat at this level. His goals, assists, and his all-round game is so much better, so much reliable in his build-up as well. Just wanted to stay in that vein and put mistakes out of his mind, and just concentrate on the next action. I think sometimes he can receive the ball and be still thinking about what he's done wrong previously. So a lot between the ears for Tyrese, but we know that we've got an exceptional talent when he is confident and playing like he is at the moment.
Let's look ahead then to this week's game. You put the league to bed for a couple of weeks, top of the table until at least next Tuesday, I think, when Forest Green play. FA Trophy, at the start of the season, where does that rank in your priorities?
I think, all competitions, we want to be competitive this year. And the FA Trophy would be no exception to that. We wanted to be competitive in the FA Cup and give our supporters a bit of a cup run in that. That hasn't materialised. So, I still feel we've got the squads capable of competing in the league and being able to do well in the cup as well. So, and the beauty of the National League team and the trophy is there's fewer games to get to Wembley, and what an opportunity and what a stage every footballer that plays, and everyone that's involved in football wants to have that dream day out at Wembley. And it's so close for a National League club. It'd be stupid not to give it your all and try to go as far as you can in the competition. Yeah,
only 5 games you have to win. Of course, no replays now, so it's straight to penalties. It has got a little bit more straightforward if you do go all the way through this competition. Not as many games as there used to be.
That's it. I think it's definitely a competition we want to be competitive in this season. We know that Saturday's going to be a tough tie. They've got players that are ex-York and going to be well up for it. So we have and they'll bring a big following, no doubts about that. So we won't treat the game any different. Be like a National League game for us, and we've got to make sure that we match what we produced last week in terms of our intensity off the ball.
How big do you think that carrot of Wembley is? Not just for you as a manager, but for the whole squad. I was trying to work it out on the way here. I can only think of Lenny, Jeff King and Paddy that have ever been to Wembley as a player in this squad. There might be someone else. I apologise if I've missed them.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but it's the pinnacle of any player. I think you want to have that opportunity of a day out and to play at Wembley is the highlight of any career. And you look back on your career and look at those highlights, and definitely, playing at Wembley would be one of them. So, I think there's a few more of us. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do it as a player. I think my son my youngest son was a mascot for Littlehampton when they got to the Vase Trophy. I think that's the closest any of our family got to the Wembley turf. So, yeah, it'd be nice to do it, but obviously there's a long way to go in the competition. We just want to build a momentum, I think, and concentrate on this game, and like I say, build a bit of momentum going into the busy Christmas period.
I can match you. My eldest son was a mascot when you got to Wembley in 2017.
Oh really? Yeah. There we go. So yeah, the close we got. I don't remember. Obviously, a bit of history of my family playing professional football, and I don't think there's too many occasions that they've got the opportunity to get to Wembley. So. Every time that's a possibility, you've got to take it seriously, in my opinion.
Lots of clubs make wholesale changes when they get into the FA Trophy. York City did last year, and they came unstuck at a side 3 or 4 leagues below, the 3 down after 20 minutes. When we see your team on Saturday, do you think there are going to be any real surprises, or are we going to think that is still a really strong York City side? Yeah,
I think we've definitely got to pay Darlington utmost respect, and we will do. And yeah, like I say, we want to be competitive. At the same time, we want to utilise the squad as well. So it's getting that balance right. Players that have played a lot of minutes and potentially could do with a rest going into a busy period. There's players that, like we spoke about, just starting to hit a bit of form and confidence. So you want to keep them rolling, and you want to, give players an opportunity, because everyone's going to be needed. So it's a real juggling act. It's a tough one to call, but I think having no game midweek really helps with that. So yeah, we've got a long time to recover in between games at the moment.
And when you change your side, but especially at Altrincham, and it doesn't go as you'd hoped, does that set a few more doubts in your mind when you know you're going to make some changes? Yeah,
potentially, but it's always sort of been the way, just to try and balance a squad that wants to compete for a 46-game league campaign and cup games as well. So there's lots of games, and we want to give players opportunity. I'm keen one for that, and at the same time, you need to see it with your eyes when they perform on the pitch and in training. And it's been a good training week. Decisions have definitely been made tougher by how well players are trained. But yeah, that's the toughest part of the job is getting that balance right of who needs to stay fresh and who needs resting up. I'm sure that if one of our top players was to play and get injured, then I'd get criticised for playing them. So it's getting that balance right, and we speak to the medical staff and see who's most at risk, and see what the best squad is we can put out, really.
Is everyone available to you then? Can you name the team that you want to, because there's no injury concerns you have to worry about? No,
like I say, there's no injury concerns. Just looking at the load and minutes and stuff. There's a few players that have played a lot of minutes already this season, so we've got to take that into consideration. But in terms of injuries, I think Ash got a bit of a bang on his knee and it flared up a bit today, but nothing too malicious to worry about Saturday, we hope. We'll see how he recovers and have a look at him on Friday, but he's the only one at the moment out of the current squad that could potentially have any doubts.
Can I ask you about the 2 players that haven't been able to get into your matchday squad at the minute, Mo and Paddy? Are they likely to be involved in some way or another this weekend?
Yeah, it's getting that balance right as well. Want them to feature and feel part of it as well. So yeah, you've got to really get the balance right of having a harmonious squad, which I like to have, and players that are happy because they've been given an opportunity, and also, players that are performing well and confident to play. So it's not football for all, but at the same time, you want to give players an opportunity if it's there too. And Mo and Paddy have trained brilliantly. So this could be an opportunity to at least include them into the squad. So it's definitely something that we're considering. Yeah.
Does the fact that it's Darlington, a local rival, which I know a few people, Darlington's their big rival going way back, I think, because they probably live towards the north of the county. Most people think it's probably Scarborough or Hull. But to some York City fans, Darlington is the big rival. Does that play into your thinking as well? You wouldn't want to lose to a club that lots of fans will see as a big rival.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think every player we've got at the club, we've got to they're here for a reason, and we back them, and they've got to be ready to step up and ready to play. And I think that's the beauty we got. 20 outfield players that all vying and want to start week in, week out. So it makes for a real competitive team, real competitive squad. But yeah, it's obviously a big game for the supporters, and we want every game to feel like that. Whenever you're representing York, it's a big game, and we want Saturday to be no different.
I can't ever remember a game where there's been 7 members of the playing staff that used to be here and the manager that used to be here coming back with an opposition team. That in itself again adds something to the game.
Yeah, it definitely will. There's obviously a little bit added to it. Players when they come back and play against their old teams, obviously it does give them a bit of a boost. So it's something that we've got to be very wary of. And like I say, that's why we'll pay utmost respect and treat it like a normal National League fixture.
Again, I think we've spoken about this before. Don't generally go along the consensus of there are free hits in football, but for Darlington, maybe this is the pressure's off them, isn't it, this weekend?
Yeah, it certainly is. And they come into a big stadium, and they don't always get to play in venues like this in the National League North, and this is the kind of venues that they would be keen to get back to, I'm sure. So yeah, you've got to take that into account as well. It's a big stadium for a lot of these players to come and play in, and any sort of footballer, when they play in these big venues, we're talking about the potential of getting to Wembley, which is a long way off for us, but you want to get there to test yourself, and these lads are going and playing in a big venue, so they'll be well up for the game. And like I say, there's a lot that are featured for this club before, so have a little bit more to prove, and you take that all into consideration, and it's got all the hallmarks of a really tricky tie, and we definitely won't underestimate that.
You played them in pre-season. Can you take anything at all from that game? Any learnings from that game apart from this could be a really tough game if you're not on your A game?
Yeah, exactly that. It was a tough game, tricky game at their place. I think it was a high-scoring game. We had a few sort of trialists and younger players playing, and I'm sure they did as well. So you can't read too much into that. Our form since then has been relatively good, and I'm sure Darlington, on the back of a very good away win, will be looking to back that up and then trying to find some momentum themselves to take into their league form as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi Adam.
Hiya.
A really impressive win on Saturday, and your team was scoring 6 goals as well. Your players have a real eye for goal at the moment. It's 22 goals in your last 5 home matches. You must be pleased with that. Yeah,
really pleased. I think that kind of score line is probably what got labelled when I first come to the club. Everyone's expecting that, and to be honest with you, the early part of the season I was more pleased with us keeping clean sheets. So we definitely want to get back to that. But at the same time, really pleased with us scoring goals and coming from a lot of different players as well, which is good. And like I say, some of the forward players starting to find some real confidence now.
It's also the second home match in a row where, even before the ball's kicked, your side's been turned around, shooting towards the south stand in the first half. Do you think that's going to kind of become the norm from now on then? Because obviously teams they know how sort of impactful the south stand can be, so they want to get it out of the way potentially? Yeah,
potentially, but I think it's sort of served us quite well. I think the statistics of us kicking that way first is actually a very good one. So, I don't think it's any coincidence that we score most of our goals shooting towards our supporters, and like I say, they have a big impact on that for the noise and that they make. So, it's not something that we sort of think too much about, and our form seems to be good when we do start that way.
Nathaniel George, another goal for him. He seems to be really enjoying his football at the moment.
He is. Him and Ty, I thought, were excellent, both of them. And then obviously got his 2 goals, so the forward line was really good. And he's a player that likes to drift inside. And I think with Joe Felix, who likes to bomb on that right hand side, and him coming inside, it seemed like a really good natural sort of partnership on the right hand side. So yeah, really pleased with him getting a goal. I'm sure he's quite relaxed, laid-back character, Ash, but he definitely enjoys scoring goals, and he scored some wonderful goals already for us this season.
With your team playing against a low league opposition this weekend, do you have to sort of just nail that message of no complacency, don't expect the game to already be won?
Yeah, I'm hoping that our couple of defeats that we've had recently have hit that sort of message quite hard. Something that we don't want to get complacent from where we are, and we're at our best when we're on it mentally, and this Saturday will be no different. I want to see that improvement that we've shown at home. When the opposition had the ball, we was quick to press, we sprinted more, and that's got to be a massive part of our game. So that's what we want to continue, especially this weekend.
And in the opposition dugout this weekend, Steve Watson, obviously known for his time at York. I can't imagine you've come across him at any point. But to add sort of an interesting dynamic playing against a manager who already knows what York are about. Yeah,
I'm sure the personnel has changed a lot, because a lot of them were playing for me at Worthing, so they wouldn't have had these players with them. So I'm sure that's it's a lot different in terms of personnel to when Steve was here. But we locked horns for probably the first time in pre-season, and seems like a genuinely nice guy, and look forward to welcoming him back to the club. And last thing from me, if there are players or changes to be made, do you see it's an opportunity for those players to sort of make a name for himself in your squad? Of course it is. Anytime you're lucky enough to put on your York City shirt and play in front of our home fans, it's an opportunity, and you've got to be ready to take it. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Hi, Adam.
Hiya.
It must be great that your message about playing with freedom is getting through, because there were a couple of excellent goals on Saturday, and yet you have the reverse where Joe Felix hit a shot and it ended up in a different postcode. Then he turned provider. So there is this no-blame culture, isn't there? No, yeah. I thought Joe done well to arrive in there. It's probably, looking back on it, a tougher chance than what I sort of first thought, when I thought it was a lot easier, but the defender done well and put him under a bit of pressure. But yeah, something that he works constantly on his game. So a challenge for Joe is to provide goals and assists. It's great that he put such a good ball in for that first goal, set us on our way, and even this week he spends time afterwards, him and Marv, doing extras. Marv wants to add more goals, and Joe wants to add more assists, so they work hard together after training, and you're always pleased when that hard work pays off. Yeah, and there's loads of statistics flying around. I think it's 29 goals in the last 10 games. You're averaging almost 3 goals a game. But how much is it about actually setting expectations as well? Because there will be games where it's just a 1-0 and sort of grind out a win, and people need to realise maybe that there's not always going to be 4 or 5 goals a game. No, that's it. But expectations good. It means we're performing well. So we don't want to hide away from that. It's a nice bonus to have that sort of expectation. So yeah, we'll obviously do all we can to carry on scoring goals, but like you say, realistically it's not going to be the case, and we want to take pride in keeping clean sheets. We enjoyed that at the start of the season, and now it's about us just trying to mirror the two up, and be keeping clean sheets but still scoring goals the other way, and that's our challenge now moving forward. And your message is that we can always get better. How do you keep things fresh during the week? In other words, being not repetitive with the constant messages you're giving the players. How do you keep it so that they're constantly motivated? I think we obviously do a lot of analysis on the game, and we do a little bit of work this week in particular from defending from crosses, and they had a free header for their first goal, and we've looked at that and see where we can improve that. So it's a mixture of trying to improve on those little details defensively, keeping the tempo when we haven't got the ball. I think that's so important, and also trying to stick to implementing our game plan on what we do well. So just lots of repetition, trying to keep the messages the same, I think really helps for the players.
And looking at the game at the weekend, I think most fans would take promotion over the cup in a heartbeat. Does that give you permission to make bigger changes? Because you do need to give players more time so that actually it'll benefit you when you come to league games.
Potentially, but at the same time, we're a club that wants to be competitive in this competition as well. So, you know, with that, we've already spoken about expectation. Our expectation of a club is you know, to be competitive in this game and to put on a good performance now. And you know, there's expectation for us to score 3 goals. So it's all good and added pressure, but it's the kind of pressure you want, and you know, it comes because we've been doing well, and you know, this is what we want. It should be part and parcel of being a York City player, is that you've got to be ready to play, and whether that's a squad player that's getting some minutes, or you know, someone that's been starting, you know, it shouldn't look any different, and we don't want it to this weekend.
You strike me as someone who's a bit of a student of the game, and you look further afield. I mean, a case in point when you look at someone like Pep, who's now really struggling at Man City. Is it something where everybody's looking at him to see how he'll get out of it and maybe learn from it? Because, you know, it's almost like welcome to my world.
I'm certainly in no position to even question or talk about Pep Guardiola. So, yeah, but you know, I really do admire watching his teams play, and even when they're going through like this tricky patch, I thought Liverpool done a bit of a job on them in the last game, but before that they've been unlucky. Just didn't take their chances in games. I think the Sporting game would sum that up. Love, like I say, watching football and love watching Pep Guardiola's teams play. So yeah, I think we're all excited to see what he might come up with next, and I think he's been a revelation. I think you know, you go down to National South, National North, and you see teams playing up from the back, and I think a lot of that is a big influence from what Pep's brought to the English game.
And finally, obviously, hoping for a big crowd on Saturday as well. It's only a cup game, but tenner a ticket, everybody should get down, shouldn't they?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it'd be great to sort of pack out our home stadium again, and yeah, hopefully they come and enjoy what they see, and you know, just generally been good spirits of late, and people have enjoyed coming, and you know, we want to try and maintain that, and I think that's so important as well. You know, with a big crowd and at a big club comes big expectation when you're doing well, and you know, this is what we want to be part of, and yeah, it'd be great to see a couple of new faces, and like I say, get the place packed out, and then hopefully they enjoy what they see.
Best of luck, thanks.
Thank you.
Hiya. All right.
Yeah, all good, you?
Good, thank you. Just to start off, how do you think your weekend match went against Maidenhead?
Yeah, it's good. I think it showed like the best and worst of us in some cases. You know, some of our goals were excellent, and then to score 4 and then concede like we did just for half time was a bit disappointing. And you know, then them to score the second, to you know, really put everyone a bit on tenterhooks, but then we sort of upped our level again. So some really good play, and I thought the intensity in large parts was a lot better and a lot closer to what we want it to look like.
And last question for me then, with this being a cup competition game, do you think you'll still be putting a strong squad forward for the game? Yeah,
I think Darlington deserved that respect, and you know, we still want to keep momentum going. So yeah, it's getting that balance right of players that potentially need a bit of a rest, and players that need to keep momentum and keep performing, and you know, also some squad players that haven't had too many minutes. You want them to be ready to go if they're called upon as well. So yeah, it's a bit of a juggling act, and yeah, it's my job to try and find the right balance to win the game.